My best friend called me her charity case behind my back. I returned the favor at her baby shower. Olivia laughed, and what she said next made my blood run cold. She's fine, just being pathetic like usual. Honestly, keeping her around is basically charity work at this point. She's just my charity case. I was standing behind the wall at the hotel bar, frozen in place with my phone in my hand. I'd come back to grab it after leaving early. Olivia was on the outdoor patio talking to her cousin Melissa, her voice loud and careless from the drinks we'd been having all night during her bachelorette party. The trip I'd put on my credit card because she said she'd reimburse me later. Melissa said something I couldn't quite hear, and Olivia continued. Derek, Olivia's husband, thinks it's admirable that I stay loyal to someone so clearly struggling. Like she's been a mess since her divorce, always stressed about money, but you know, it makes me feel good to be there. It's like having a rescue dog or something. The comparison to a rescue dog made something inside me snap. I walked back to my hotel room. 8 years of friendship, and this is what she really thought of me. Her charity case. Her rescue project made her feel noble. We met during our first week of nursing school when I found her crying in a library bathroom over a failed anatomy exam. Her parents were threatening to cut off her tuition, and she was spiraling. I spent 3 weeks tutoring her every night after working my campus coffee shop shifts. After that, Olivia would get overwhelmed and I'd step in. I helped her move apartments 4 times because she kept fighting with roommates. I loaned her money when her car broke down, when her credit card declined, when she needed security deposits. I covered her hospital shifts so many times our manager once joked we might actually be the same person. She always promised to pay me back. That day never seemed to come. When my marriage started falling apart, I called her. My husband had just told me he wanted a divorce. I was having a panic attack. Olivia answered on the 5th ring sounding annoyed. She said she had an early shift and couldn't really talk. Then she hung up before I could even respond. The next morning, she texted asking if I could cover her shift that weekend because she wanted to go to a concert. I always said yes, and now I knew why. She thought I was her charity case. The divorce took 18 months and cost me everything I'd saved. I kept the apartment but lost most of our savings and half my retirement fund. Olivia came to one court date. She arrived late because she had a hair appointment. After the divorce finalized, Olivia invited me to dinner at an expensive Italian restaurant. She said we needed to celebrate my freedom. She spent 2 hours talking about Derek, the guy she'd started dating. When the check came, Olivia grabbed it. She said dinner was her treat. I actually felt touched until she looked at the total. She'd forgotten about a credit card payment due tomorrow. Could I cover it this once? I paid with money I'd budgeted for groceries. More charity work for the charity case. Olivia's life transformed while mine stayed stuck, and she still asked me for favors constantly. I kept saying yes because I didn't know how to say no. Then Derek proposed. Olivia FaceTimed me from the restaurant, showing off a ring that probably cost more than my car. She asked me to be her maid of honor. I said yes because what else could I say? Being maid of honor meant organizing her bridal shower, her bachelorette party, and helping with dozens of wedding tasks. She spent her days planning while I pulled double shifts and somehow found time to coordinate all her events. The bachelorette party in Miami cost $800 per person. I organized everything: flights, hotels, activities, dinner reservations. I put my portion on a credit card. Olivia kept adding upgrades. That second night in Miami, when I overheard her calling me her charity case, comparing me to a rescue dog, everything crystallized. All those years of friendship had been her feeling superior, feeling noble for tolerating me. I walked back to my hotel room and started planning exactly what I'd say at her baby shower. 3 days before the shower, Olivia asked me to meet for coffee. She had important news. She grabbed my hands and told me she was pregnant 8 weeks along. The wedding was in 2 months. She squeezed my hand and said she honestly didn't know what she'd do without me. I smiled and said I'd be honored to be the godmother. Inside, I was compiling my speech, the one that would expose her in front of everyone. The day of the shower arrived. Guests arrived. Olivia came fashionably late. She looked radiant, completely unaware of what was coming. The shower proceeded normally. When it was time for speeches, I stood at the front of the room. Several guests held up phones to record. I said I'd known Olivia for 8 years and learned so much about who she really was. I said I wanted to share what our friendship had truly meant to me. Then I said every favor, every loan, every covered shift, every apartment move, every crisis. When I finished, I said I'd calculated the total cost. $4,200 in loans never repaid, $6,000 in covered shifts, $1,800 for the bachelorette party, $3,000 for this shower, over $15,000 total. But the financial cost wasn't the real issue, I said. The emotional cost was higher. I'd been there for every crisis, but when my marriage collapsed, she couldn't spare 20 minutes. Olivia tried to stand up, but I kept going. I said that 3 weeks ago in Miami, I'd overheard her talking to Melissa. I said I'd heard Olivia call me her charity case. That being my friend was volunteer work, like having a rescue dog. I'd realized that I'd been her charity case for 8 years, and I was done. Then Melissa stood up, her face bright red. Full story on my channel and linked below.